a top-down view so that you can see what I'm doing with the board and the manipulatives. And this is what you're going to do when you're introducing these concepts. Most likely you have a document camera that you can demonstrate from. That's kind of how I did it in my classroom. All right, so here are algebra tiles, and we have different sizes and different colors. And so the first thing you want to do is introduce what this model is for students. I love algebra tiles because they will do everything you need to do in middle school for any of the algebraic concepts. So let's get started. We have, and I would just go ahead and show the students, all the different tiles, and you're going to let them touch them as well. It doesn't work as well when students watch you do things. They remember it more and they understand it more when they actually touch it. So that's the first thing we have to do, is get these things in their hands. Now what we need to do is talk about the area model. The algebra tiles are based on an area model. So when I look at an algebra tile, I'm going to ask the students, what does this tile represent? What do you think it represents? And hopefully they'll say it's a square, and you'll have some conversations about, well, this is an area model, so what do we think the area of the square is? And actually have them get out rulers. Again, we want them to touch the rulers, and when they measure this, they're actually going to see that it's 1 centimeter by 1 centimeter. It's a square because each side is the equal length. And while we're doing this, while they're touching the tiles, you're going to have them recording their information on a piece of paper. So they're going to take a piece of paper, and I like to have them fold it lengthwise and crease it so they end up with 2 columns. They're going to draw their pictorial model on one side, and on the other side write the symbolic relationship of those tiles. So if this is my tile, then I'm going to draw a square on my paper representing this tile. And I'm going to even write down the dimensions of this little 1. 1 centimeter by 1 centimeter, and so the area of this is 1 square centimeter. And so this little 1 is going to represent a value of 1 in our work. Next we get out the bar. This bar is, and we compare it to our unit, our 1, and we say, well, look, it's 1 centimeter long. So we're going to draw this bar, and we are going to note that it's 1 centimeter because it matches this, the 1. And then I ask the students, how long is this bar? And they'll get their rulers out and they'll try it. You could have them use their algebra tiles to try to see how long this bar is. And the interesting thing is, and genius thing about when they made these algebra tiles, is that it's not 5 and it's not 6. It's somewhere in between 5 and 6. So the students will guess 5.5 and all kinds of things, but we don't really know exactly how long it is. And so when we ask them, well, what do we do with things we don't know exactly the value of? When something's unknown, what do we do? So we usually get them to say, well, we'll call it X. X is our unknown length. And this is an unknown length or an uneven length for a purpose, for just to say it's X long. And if we say that's X long in an area model, then we'll say 1 centimeter times X centimeters is X centimeters squared. So this one represents 1, and the bar represents X. And don't do like I did. Don't give it away by calling it the X bar. Let's get out the bar. Now the next tile, and the next size tile, is, I call it big blue. It's a big blue tile. So have your students draw a big blue, well, I guess not blue, but a big square on their paper to represent this. Now when they look at this one, they might try with the 1s, but hopefully they'll notice really quickly that this big blue is matching up really nicely with our X bars. So we have a dimension of our big blue square of X and X. So we'll write our dimensions on our paper. That's X centimeters, and now we say, so when we have X times X, what's that product? When we multiply X times X, and hopefully they'll know X squared. And so big blue generally is going to be our representation for X squared. Now we can use it for other things, but if we're going to be true to the area model, These are the things these algebra tiles should be representing. And when they get to algebra, or perhaps even 8th grade, and they do some work with polynomials, knowing how to use these algebra tiles will be a real bonus for them. All right, so now that we've defined what the tiles are,